It's just mics are hot.
Mics are hot. But it's good. Time being 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the regular scheduled council meeting of the town of Cochran Canyon, March 11th, 2024 to order. If you'd all please stand and face the flag and repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Next item is public input. Anyone may speak in a public input on an agenda or non-agenda item for a period of 3 minutes. Tonight we have 2 public hearings, which if you want to speak on those, I will be calling those separately. Does anyone here would like to speak on public input for anything? Hearing none, we'll go to staff and mayor's report. I don't really have a lot, but I'm sure Troy has some updates for you.
Yes, Mary, just a real quick update as that's printed in the packet. We'll be meeting with the commissioner, Bobby Mitchell, on the 25th to talk about the Estates Drive Bridge and the progress of that and how we're a partnership to get that bridge rebuilt. So that's what the meeting on the 25th is about. We've been making a lot of progress with our vehicles that are being worked on, our police vehicles. We should have our second used vehicle back, our Tahoe, probably within the next 2 weeks. And so then we'll have all of those vehicles here. And then the county has offered to help do all the programming as it relates to radios, and they'll come and do it all in one day. So we're excited about that day getting a little bit closer. The construction, as you can see, our property is kind of a wreck right now, and we apologize for the mess, but we're making progress. So as you guys know, to the west, you have which where the new building's going to be. The stakes you see with the blue and white flagging is the corner of the buildings. And then to our east is the parking lot, our future parking lot. We're hoping to have that done by mid to late April so that we can start utilizing that. So we have our septic system in and operating. So that's good news for us here that work at the town hall every day. But any other questions that you guys may have, I'd be happy to answer.
What TCO's third upgrade?
Oh, yes. We had the TCO site visit, went very well. There were no issues or concerns. And the next step is they'll take our application and the assessment from the site. And now they're going to do an internal approval, which should happen here by the end of the month as well. So once they review all the documents and the summary from the site visit, then we will get a letter saying that we are an approved police department. And then from there, Roger, our special administrator, will then go through the official background check that the state requires. And then once he completes that, he will then become our official police chief once he goes through that process. So things are moving forward, but the state is very particular on what order you go in and what forms you complete and when those are turned in. So we appreciate everybody's patience, but I think we're moving in the right direction.
You know, it's funny that we had to do all these things that we've had to do before we can get certified. We had to buy cars, we had to hire a person, we had to show that we had the ability to do it before we could ever get the certification. So they were, I assume, was impressed.
Yes, Mayor, and that's absolutely right. If we didn't have a police car and we didn't have handheld radios, they probably would not have approved us to go to the next step. And then we'd have to order all that stuff and then kind of go from there. So it's a very meticulous process, that is for sure.
Anything else, council? Questions or comments from your? Okay. Next item is a public hearing. The town will conduct a public hearing for propose the hearing of any and all comments and to consider a recommendation from the Copper Canyon Planning and Zoning Commission regarding a replat of Canyon Oaks 2 Phase 2 lots 1R1 and lots 1R2. Block G being a replat of lot 1 and Block G of Canyon Oaks 2 Phase 2 of the town of Copper Canyon and extraterritorial jurisdiction. Now, anyone here would like to speak in favor or opposition? This is actually a property that lies outside of our town limits. It's within our exteritorial ETJ. This is a administrative plat basically because it's very small. It's only a 2-lot divide. So, and we don't really have a lot of jurisdiction over this at the end of the day. So anybody here in favor or opposition, you may come to the podium and state, you need to come up here and state your name and your address if you would please.
Sure.
My name is Fritz Kloss. I live on 125 Pheasant Run. I actually live in that Canyon Oaks residential area. I was just curious what it was about. I came here to see and why you were talking about replatting it, and I wasn't quite sure which lots they were, but I think I do know where they are. I think they're on Meadow, I believe.
Could you add something?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And do you know why there was a reason for replatting it, or?
So they replatted because the county requires them to have those 2 lots platted before they'll issue a building permit. And
So it's somebody trying to build something there? Is that what's going on?
apparently, I think so.
Okay, so that's really my
that's the
question, because as a homeowner being in that area, it's kind of wouldn't be nice to know what whoever is trying to build on that property, another residential house or.
Well, it would have to be, yeah.
Yeah.
As a town, not being in our town limits, we really don't have the information or the information.
Okay.
That the county would have, but the county has more jurisdiction over this than we do.
Okay,
Right.
very good.
Because
All
the
right.
county will issue all the building permits, do all the inspections. all
Yeah,
the-
so we're in an HOA and they actually have guidelines on what kind of homes, buildings can be put there. So I guess that question will go to the HOA.
That would have.
Okay, well, thank you.
It's out of our jurisdiction.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's one of the reasons why I came, actually. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, no one else to speak, I will close that public hearing. The next public hearing is the town will continue the public hearing originally began on February 12th, 2024. The proposed for the hearing any and all comments to consider a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding Jernigan Estates conceptual plan. Council, this is let me just give you a little history so we can move forward and with your questions tonight of where we're at and also the public. This went to planning and zoning as a concept / development plan, but and then it came to the council. However, the planning and zoning only approved a concept plan. They did not take action on development plan, even though it was presented that way. They only approved the concept plan. So we are not here today to discuss drainage, lights, roads, access points, or anything else. This is strictly conceptual. This will go back to planning and zoning as a development plat, and I assume a preliminary plat possible.
The development plan and the preliminary plat is being proposed on the 25th of March to the Planning and Zoning.
Planning and Zoning Commission. Then the council will hear it on April 1st, not April 8th, which is our regular scheduled meeting. It'd be April 1st. We moved that meeting not to have anything to do with this development. It has a lot to, only thing it has to do is with an eclipse that's apparently happening and everybody's going to be in South Texas looking at it. So we don't have a quorum. So that's the only reason that council meeting has been moved. So tonight, this is a continuation of the public hearing for a concept plan, nothing else. Okay, so does anyone here like to speak any further in opposition or in favor of Jernigan Estates conceptual? Mr. Johnson, I believe you have. I will demote you from Council Member Johnson to Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very briefly, I want to thank those members of the Planning and Zoning Commission and the council who took the time to go and physically inspect the properties in question. And I think it was an eye opener for people in terms of what they saw, but also with respect to your request that we hold a joint council and planning and zoning commission later in terms of looking at how to improve the development process for our town. But to those who were able to do that, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, you're gonna need to come back up here now. Anybody else? Hearing none, I will close that public hearing. Staff reports, you've already given your report. Anything else, Troy, or fire department, anything to report, or? Well, all good, okay. Next item is consent agenda. Any item on the consent agenda may be removed by any member of council for individual consideration or questions or individual vote. Council, anything on the consent agenda need to be removed? Or any questions? If not, I entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Councilmember Andrews. Do I have a second? Second.
I'll second.
Second by the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Next item is discussion on action items, discussion and consideration of taking action regarding a recommendation for the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding a replat of Canyon Oaks 2, Phase 2, Lot 1R1 and Lot 1R2. Council, this is the extraterritorial jurisdiction property, which we just discussed. There's really not much jurisdiction we have over this. This is more of a county action, but we do have to, we are a part of the replat process. So, there any questions on this? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the changes made for the replat for the Canyon Oaks 2 Phase 2 lots mentioned earlier, lots 1R1 and 1R2.
I have a motion by the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Councilmember Liebert. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Larry, would you please step down again? Anybody that's curious, Larry's has a direct conflict of interest. His property abuts his property. So, discussion and consideration. Next item is discussion, consideration of taking action regarding a recommendation. The Planning and Zoning Commission. Also, and I know there's some with questions. If they have anything other than to do with concept, would you please hold those to the next council meeting? Anything other than concept plans, council? Any questions from the council? Hearing any?
Mayor, if I could just, I'm not sure if you want to even consider opinions or I've been doing a lot of reading on what was provided to me. And at the previous meeting, I expressed my serious concern with the drainage issue of this plan. My understanding of the section that we're dealing with now, which is just the concept plan, that time, from my understanding, is to be an opportunity for the town to express their concerns. And in that light, I would like to express a concern that I have, because frankly, nobody wants to waste time. The developer doesn't want to waste time. We don't want to waste time. We don't want to waste Troy's time dealing with a lot of issues that can be solved if people understand how we look at things. Is there any benefit to be had by discussing that at this point?
Not at this point, because there's been a draining plan submitted to us over a 2 year, 1 year, 2 year, 100 years. So there's 3 draining plans right now that we have had. We'll be going with this in the preliminary plat.
What was that in depth on that?
In depth. That's when you will get in depth on everything else other than there's 6 lots here. And yeah, so anything beyond that is really part of preliminary plat and the development plat. If I allow, we start getting into this, it doesn't, we don't find a stopping point, you know. And I'd like to let P&Z do their job first, and then let us do ours, and this needs to go to P&Z first.
And Mayor, the staff has been working very closely. Chris, the town engineer, couldn't be here tonight, but we have met adjacent landowners out on the property several times. The developer has taken the time to create some additional plan views as well. So all that will be presented as part of the development plan. There's been some modeling done, as the mayor had mentioned, to 10-year modeling, what the surface water will do. We had probably about a 2-hour meeting with the landowner to the north, making sure they understood kind of what was developing and how it was going to work and flow and those type of things. So we have been out boots on the ground, that's for sure. So
There's stuff that you don't have yet that I have privilege, I've seen already that hasn't been disputed. This has a lot to do with flooding and for the drainage of this property. So I'd like to keep it to the concept at this point. Is there any other questions on concept? If not, I would say that there's no reason to deny this. I believe this should go through tonight without any problem. Then again, the rest of it will be P and Z. There's still 3 more steps to this. There is development, preliminary plat, final plat before it ever gets to. So there's a lot of questions to be asked and answers to be given.
I did have a question as regard to the concept. It sounds like we're just dealing with the road and the 6 2-acre lots. But I guess the one question would be, we're approving with this concept approval, a private road versus a public road with a 60-foot wide dedicated right of way to allow for the design as it sits.
That'd be correct. That's what I said. If there's no other questions or comments, I would entertain a motion to approve this item. And allow it to go through this process with the planning and zoning commission. Is there a motion to do that? Question cannot die for lack of a motion. No, I have nothing else. Give me a motion to deny. On the question, a motion to approve.
Well, Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve, since there apparently is a lot of paperwork that I have not had a chance to review, and I truly look forward to delving into that information. Because as a concept plan, I frankly see no overview problems with it in terms of the lots, the roads. That's fine with that. It meets the criteria for our zoning. So from that standpoint, I'll make a motion that we approve the concept plan, looking forward to dealing with the rest of it.
I have a motion by the mayor pro tem. Is there a second?
Yes, sir. I'll make a
I'll
motion, but I'd like to make a statement right quick. if I could.
Go ahead. I have a motion by Councilman Andrews. I have a second by Councilman Andrews. Go ahead, sir.
I too, like Rudy, I have very grave concerns about this project. And I am glad to hear that the information that we don't presently have, we'll have in the future. And we can study this and really get into the meat and bones of it. And I too am concerned about the drainage of the place. And I have several questions, and maybe those will be answered in thoroughly when next meeting we have. And I'll have the opportunity to read and digest what that looks like. But I too, I want to second the motion as it stands tonight.
I have a motion to approve and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That's Councilmember Andrews, Mayor Pro Tem Castillo, Councilmember Liebert in favor, Councilmember Hill is not here, and Councilmember Johnson is abstaining, is conflict. So a motion approves. That's all the discussion items. Anything else, council? I will tell before I get to discussion consideration of future agenda items. I would say that from the phone calls that I'm getting and the emails I'm getting and the talking with Troy, buckle up. There's lots of stuff fixing to come around, development wise, and people are looking at us. And it's going to be this a lot of it will be coming in the next 6 months, I would imagine. So there's lots of things getting ready to happen development wise that we need to be very cognizant of and be able and we're having a joint work session with planning and zoning in April. This will be a topic of discussion so that the planning and zoning commission and the town council are on the same page and that we all understand all the processes and the best that we deal with this as we move forward with a lot of this stuff, because some of it's we haven't dealt with before, I believe. We're gonna see. So, anything, any council, anything you'd like to see on the next agenda? If not, time being 7:20, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I have a motion by the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, a second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Reed. All in favor?
Aye.
Larry, you in favor?